Hello, love, 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 love is in the air. Hello, hello. I missed you all last Sunday because you know why? It was the holiday of Labor Day, and so we was not open on this Sunday. But I hope you all had a wonderful, wonderful Labor Day weekend and ate a lot of hot dogs and hamburgers and all that good food, you know. So, as Mr. Happy's going to talk about today, we're going to just keep talking about that love, baby. Keep spreading that love all over the nation as we need it more and more at this moment of time. I have discussed about the last segment of the show, and we was talking about the education of what I have fulfilled into life. I skipped a lot of my past, and so we're going to go back a little bit into the education. First of all, when I was in high school at Saginaw High, in high school, I was in the music class called Saginaw High Soul Choir, directed by Mrs. Mary McKinney. She inspired us so much. See, I was yet still lost, and music was always my escape and to deal with my frustration and loneliness into my life. And also dance. And so I recall back in the days we did a lot of production. She was a dynamic composer and know how to arrange and change songs and do this. She taught us how to train our voice very well and sing very well from our diaphragm. Miss McKinney also became my mother and took charge of things that she always said, you all don't know what he's constantly going through. And she's yet a beautiful angel too in my life. I give glory to God for her. So I recall one time, back in '79, we did the plays of A Misbehaving, Pearlie, and Don't Bother Me, I Can't Cope. Now we also did productions of Fame and The Wiz. And you love. I was the lion in the wind. I'm a mean old lion. And also, because I had to find my courage. And also, I was a dancer into Fame. During that process, I had to move a lot of times as well. So I started off at school at Buena Vista High School, and so I had to transfer back to Saginaw High, and then I would go back to Buena Vista or either other school. But during the process at Buena Vista, I also taken model and jazz dance. Then I got my legs and everything back into tack, and now I'm back over to Saginaw High. And I'm ready to float and do this rock and roll and Fame. And also that lion, roar, I'm a meal lion, roar. She saw the possibility into my vocal and seeing the pain and how I can roar that out even well. I recall one time we did a production and I was on the stage and I just fell. I was standing on the ladder, the steps, as the lion stand, and I was in my position, and as I jumped down, I said, oh Lord, I just fell. But you know what? Good acting. I always know how to play that off. No one knew it, but I did, because it was not part of it, so I just empathized and did what I had to do, okay? Now, as we going back, now I'm getting to the process. I was supposed to graduate in 1981, but Miss McKinney have also taken us and traveled us to many different engagement and learn more about the history of the Operation Push. And we would just go sing all over many places and spread our vocals. I'm so truly thankful for Miss Mary McKinney, whom is my godmother. And she helped me in the possibility. I didn't know as I was getting back to graduation. I was supposed to graduate in 1981. And we talked about the special ed. And so I was embarrassed and ashamed, as I told you all. I didn't belong there, but we all are special. I was ashamed. And I wanted to drop out of school in high school, but Mrs. McKinney said, don't ever worry about that. You are determined to make it. I see it in my eyes and in my heart and in my soul. So by her saying that, as I told you guys, without having a mom into my life, she have taken that role as into school how other people would tease me. So by knowing that, and she encouraged me, I stayed and graduated. 82, it might have been alright, it was another year, but I graduated. And so by that process, and I said, now it's time for me to find my occupation into life. What do I want to do? I love hair. I love doing hair. I love making women's and people just beautiful. I can take a person when they are down, because I had that hurting first pain inside of me and I was lost. And I would make them so beautiful. It gave me the award to seeing the beautiful joy on their face. So I said, okay, let's go to hair school. I went on to hair school, but I couldn't comprehend at the time, but I was very, like I told you all before, the visual learner, I'm very creative, artistic, as a lot of us are. And so I determined they would put me in competition and let me do hair shows and do all these different type of competition with other competitors. I won many. And so by doing that, I didn't pass the written test, as I told you all before. Visual learning. So I passed the practical, I passed everything else but the written test. I flunked that written test 3 times to stay bored. I said, okay, something is not right. Let me see if I can get a reader. And so they allowed me to have a reader. And the reader was by the name of a good person who helped save my life when I was a child. And I call her Rihanna in one of my books. And we'll get on that segment in a minute. It's in a child's journey that I had written back in the days. But we're going to stay in high school. That was in my earlier days, how she came in to help my life. Rihanna is a beautiful lady. Her name is Rhonda. And she helped me. And she helped read the test and helped me, and we passed that test finally out of 3 times. So during that process, I wanted to go get a job. Where can I go? So I went to this place at the hair gallery down in Saginaw, Michigan. And I was looking, because I always was very impressed and admired by the way, it was a young lady that used to work, that owned the salon, Rhonda. She no longer with us on earth, but she will always be with us in spirit. And she was so dynamic. She was a barber and a stylist. So, and then Mary, a great friend of mine, we're going to get into that segment. It's funny. She was down there, and she was dynamic. And then a good friend of mine is Danny. And so I wanted to work with all the classy, unique, fantastic, creative, fantasy stylists. So I graduated. I went down there and said, can I have a job? I'm just saying like this. I didn't graduate. Can I get a job? I even be a shampoo boy. Oh, Lord, my feeling was crushed because they was already booked in full and had many employees. So I recall when Danny said to me, Mary used to work here. She had her own salon and it's called Dare to Be You. Why don't you go down the other corner? So I went down there and I talked to her. She said, well, we're not hiring at this moment. Oh, I was so crushed. What am I going to do? So I went back down to Danny. I said, well, she said they're not hiring at this moment. Wait a minute. Look how good God is doing this whole beautiful, joyful. I'm sitting there at the dryer, talking, what can I do? The young lady who, Mary's sister, by the name of Robbie, she came down to the head guy and said, I'm looking for that young man that came down to our salon looking for a position in our salon. And she didn't even know I was sitting there. And I said, it's me. She said, are you willing to come be a shampoo boy at this moment? I said, heck yeah, anything you have to take what you can to grow. And that's how I started learning. So I got to work with Mary and I got to be there for many and many years. And I learned so many things. We did so many great hair shows all over in Detroit and everything else. So, and then I moved on. It took me to 1992. They didn't believe. We used to have 24 hours opening, doing hair. We would do charity and be open for 24 hours. And for cancer or anything else, we would do that to rescue. And my prayers go out to all ones who have cancer into this life. We can overfight many things and obstacles, never give up, and always stay joyful. So we always gave that time. Then one time I recall that it's time to make a change. I remember I was into music, and my good classmate of mine who went to Saginaw High, she moved down to the Twin City. And it was these entertainment lawyers. And I met them on the phone. And during that process, they said, "Do you have anything else that you can do before?" And I said, "Yes, I'm a hairstylist." And so they allowed me to, they said, "Well, we have this salon we invested into with this young man by the name of Michael Cole." Michael Cole was dynamic as Mary, Glenn, them, all them. They were just dynamic. So Michael come from Chicago, and he was all about, he had the more blow drying, and it can blow dry that hair so bone straight, child, and make it so full of bounce. And so now let's intertwine. But Michael and I didn't meet. Let's stay into Saginaw and Dare to Be You and me. I told them it's time to make a change. And this is in 92. I said, "Well, I'm really gonna leave here. I love you all." They said, "Robert, you ain't going nowhere." I said, "Yes, I am. You keep saying that." I said, "Okay, this is my last night." During that time, in the process, as I told you all about Barbara, my classmate, and then the entertainment lawyer, I had met Michael on the telephone. We would correspond back and forth on the telephone. And never met this man into my entire life, but our spirit once again connected with each other. That's the main thing into life. It's all about spirituality. You can feel each other's spirit. As I say, I'm letting my eyes show a little bit because people always say, "I never get to see your eye." But I only let anyone in who have the right spirit. I can see through the window of the soul as you can too. I don't let everyone come in to harm me anymore. Okay, now getting back. As I said, now we talking to Michael on the telephone, and he had sent me plane tickets. I said, "Okay, I'm coming." He sent me a plane ticket twice, and I never went. Now he could have stopped, but our spirit again connected. And so Miriam said, "Okay, you going?" I said, "Yeah, it's time to make a change." So I finally said, "Mike, I'm ready." But I never met these people. So I get on the plane, and I get to the airport in the Twin City, and it was these two beautiful, handsome young men that had walked up to me, but I had felt, and the one gonna play a trick to me. His name was Ryan, and he was the nail tech, and he gonna say, "I'm Michael," but we never met, but you can feel. And so I said, "No, you're not. That's Michael." Because Michael and I would constantly talk each and every day on the phone, and it finally made me feel more at peace that I was safe to take this opportunity. I was just safe and felt now it's time to grow. But I got to be his assistant as well with the shampoo, because now here we go. Let's get back to the Twin City. We was back in Saginaw. We did all the shows there, and we was talking about my license. Okay, now I got to go to the Twin City. Everything is different. The reciprocity is totally different than the reciprocity in Michigan. So now I have to go back to school. Not back to school, I have to go and learn more to get prepped to take this test at the state board in Minneapolis. This time I do not have a reader. But Michael had someone I explained to him, and he had a great person to help tutor me. During that process, I went to Elveda as well to learn many courses, and I'm ready to go take my test. Before that, I was his shampoo boy, but Michael had many assistants. Only thing Michael Cole had to do, I was so impressed with his creativity and his business. He had so many different assistants. And the only thing Michael had to do once you got in his chair, he would comb you out and give you that love touch. And he was just books all the time. Lord, now I go to the state board in the Twin City by myself. This time, no reader. First time, I passed it. And I passed it now on my own right in the Twin City. I still keep my license all tap, Michigan and also Minneapolis. And Minneapolis and Wisconsin are all on the same reciprocity. So I worked at Regis, and we're gonna go to that next in Marinette, Wisconsin. But I did not realize once you had your license in Minneapolis and Wisconsin, you're also a barber. Thank you. Okay, now I'm doing my hair down there, got my own facility and doing my own client. I'm mixing, as I told you, I'm a visual learner. I take Michael technique and I use our technique. Because in Michigan and Minneapolis are totally different stylists. Everyone have a different, unique of style. We're not here. I love the competition shows that we used to do, but we're not competing to be thinking we better than you. It was all of you united in one, just having a great time and presenting many different styles and showing everyone. Now I'm leaving Michael and now I'm on my own and I'm going to BBK. I'm searching for another establish. I go to BBK's and there with Felicia Rashad. Used to get her hair done there. No, not BBK's, at Studio 67. And let's keep in Michael. The reason why I left Michael because as I spoken to you all about the Mr. Happiness show, how I was getting lost and allowing the substance to take control of who I am. I was still trying to find, I was still hiding behind that mask and couldn't accept the pain that I was feeling inside of me, truly deal with it. But I'm truly thankful that I can deal with all my depression and pain, but I would not tolerate it, as I quote in one of my books. Okay, now I appreciate Michael for all the support and help and helping me through everything, but I was yet lost. So I had to find myself. And then I go to, as I was speaking of, Studio 67. Then now I'm going to BBK. That was by the Pillsbury. It was in the Pillsbury Center. And I learned a lot of technique. And I had a clientele that would just follow me. But I was yet lost. So I had an assistant that money ain't everything. Like I said, it's the people. People are so important to me. When I can feel their spirit, that's what the testimony into my life. I give glory to God for being able to show me more now my purpose into life and to see others into their hurt in situations so I can constantly now share my light of love on them and to show that we can accomplish anything and do not allow any obstacle to come into our way to stop us from succeeding what God has planned for us today. Now, I'm doing the hair and yeah, it's just a great time. I love when we used to go. We're going back to Saginaw. Miriam, we would have the Bonder Brother hair shows in Atlanta. Was very creative, and everyone from all over the world would be there. And the unique of styles of creativity, but also in that process, we're going back to Minneapolis. I've left BBK's and now I'm at this beautiful salon. I'm in another salon, Samaya. Samaya reminds me of Mary. I work with many of women. I love them dearly. I would never let no one hurt a woman. And so we entered the competition. Samaya was very unique in creativity as well. That's why I love working with her as well, because she reminded me of Mary, how I would just go and mold the hair and do all this, and Mary would take it and boom, boom, bam, and she would line you up and do all these creativity. Now she can also do very unique styles of hair. Samaya was that same way as well. Not saying that Michael was, and not saying that Danny was, and not saying that no one else. That we all had a different, unique of creativity. And so Samaya did, I recall one time, we take the young lady, and she made her hair out of a chandelier. She made her hair a chandelier, a lampshade, and then her dress was also full of hair. It was so beautiful. She was dressed like a lamp. Her bottle was a shade of the hair, and everything had to be into hair. And we had the rhinestone and crystal. I wish I could find some of those pictures, but we love creating, and I choreograph a lot of the show. And during those processes, I remember one time in Saginaw with Dare to Be You with Mary and I, we'll work overnight so many times. And then, you have people that are always watching you and just trying to want to harm you. But that's why I would never leave her, no matter if I was through with my clients, done with my clients. I would not leave her. And then, because she was a woman all alone, there by herself. And I was a man. But I recall one time we walking out, and someone tried to rob her. I put her in the car. Ooh, Lord, I'll never forget that. We was driving. He was shooting at the window. But I put her head down. I'm driving. We just driving with my head down. Thank to God once again that saved our life through that. We never got hurt. Now I'm going back to Minneapolis at Samaya. And I wouldn't leave her alone as well. And one day I walked to the corner store. I always was telling them to lock the door. And so this man, I don't know who it was, kept watching us as well. They always trying to set you up. So many hatred and jealousy and that. But you can have your own things in life you work for. Let's quit trying to rob and destroy everyone else's gift that God have given it to them to be able to accomplish and to make other and to achieve and be well. So anyhow, going back, she locked the door, but as I come back out of that store, get ready to go in, Lord have mercy, I had a gun in my bag, and I would warn her she was going to open the door, and I was like, no, don't open the door, because she would have opened that door, he would have robbed her and killed her and me. But we was right by the police station, but see, by the grace of God, I was not afraid, and I showed that individual, you're not going to hurt this woman. But God, as doing that, we would have church in our salon. And I was just filled with the power of God. And no weapon shall form against you prosper. And we are covered under his blood. You better loose him in the name of Jesus. Get away. And then he ran. And she didn't open that door. And so she didn't even realize until I came in. I said, she saw the shadow. I said, don't open that door. No. Now, we're going to close for today. And we're going to come back with many more, as I told you. Let's try to keep on loving. Let's do not allow no hatred. Oh, before I close. Now, as I was telling you, Mr. Happiness, he set up and wrote his first book, A Child's Journey in Search of a Purposeful Life. And you can also purchase this off of Amazon.com, and A Child's Journey in Search of a Purposeful Life by Robert Cook, Mr. Happy Online. And also I wrote a poem book, and it got published, one of my stories called Tar, it got published at Serendipity at Bay College. And that book is called Look Up. It's a poem book. And you also can receive that off of Amazon. And my third book, and I got published twice into Serendipity at Bay College. And my third book is Coping with Life. Coping with Life. And you can also receive that in my fourth book. We had to do the children. Happy World. Happy World. So I done many a big book shows. As I told you, I done in book shows in New York, Harlem. I have even some videos of those on there. So, and I have t-shirts. So when Mr. Happy say, let's keep on smiling, let's keep on loving, let's keep on celebrating life. And as he say, love, love, love is in the air, because God is there. And do not allow any obstacle to come into your way to stop you from succeeding what God have planned for you today. If Mr. Happy can make it, I know you can. Until then, later. Now we're going to Happy Sunday.
Hello, love, love.